Hello guys, welcome to a new video. In this video, we are going to learn how we can implement pagination using Flutter, Riverpod and Firestore database. So this will be a very quick video. I'm not going to do any deep coding here. I will just explain what I have done. So without any delay, let's get started. So here's the user data connection. This is the connection that we are going to use in this video to implement our pagination. So let's get started. So first of all, I am working on a project that I am already working on. I mean, we are not going to create any project from scratch. So just follow along if you want to implement this feature in your project. Okay, so here I have created some existing data here. So just ignore the data that are already here and just focus on the data that I'm working on. So inside APIs, this folder contains all the files which talk with our Firestore database. And inside the model, we will have our models, and inside the notifier, we will have our state notifiers and everything that contain our business logic. And inside the views, of course, we will have our UI. So let's get started with our model. So here we need email, ID, and username. If we go to model, I have a file called user data model here. We can import our packages and create an immutable model, user data model, which contains UID, username, and email. Since we are getting data from Firestore, we will need from Firestore factory class for factory function. And that's it. Our model is now ready. Now let's go to our APIs. Inside API, we have our get users data.api.dart. Inside, we can create a class, import our dependencies. And I have named the from Firestore the class name, and we have a get user data function which will get the users data from our Firestore database with a limit of 5, and we will track the last document, so we can implement the pagination by tracking the last document. After that, create a provider to provide the data to other providers. Okay, now our API part is also done. Pretty simple, right? Now let's go to our notifiers. Inside I have a folder called get users data notifier.dart. Here we will create a state notifier to implement our business logic and show it in the UI. So first of all, import the dependencies, and here I have created a get users data class which extends state notifier, and it will have a state of list type user model, and the initial value will be empty list. And we have a required dependencies, which is our from Firestore provider. And here, let's create the instance. And this is our first function. We will have our last document here as a late variable. And we have a future with a return type of list user model. And it will get our initial users data. And here we will initialize our last document. And we will use our from Firestore to get the users data. And we will set the state to users data. And if there is an error, we will just rethrow it, else we will return the state. And after that, we will need another function give the next users data. And this function is used to implement our pagination, of course. It will not return anything. It will just update our data with the new data that we are getting from the Firestore by providing the last document. Okay. And if there is an error, we will check what type of error is it. If it is a state error, we can say that there is no more users to fetch, else just rethrow the error. You can add any floating action bar, a snack bar or anything instead printing this message. And I am just, for the sake of the simplicity of the video, I'm keeping it simple. So our everything is done now. Now let's go to our UI. So we'll now save this, and inside our views, main view. Actually, I'm working on a current project as I've said. So inside, I'm just doing the pagination inside my edit profile view right now. So this is our UI. Yeah, this is our UI here, and now just fix the errors. Get users data provider. Okay, actually I forgot to create the state notifier provider here. Okay, now our state notifier provider is here, and we are passing the our from Firestore API provider inside our StateNotifierProvider, which is used to get user data. And save it. And inside our edit profile view, and every error is now gone. Now I will explain this code to you. Here we have a future builder. This is a consumer stateful widget. Inside we have a future builder here, which will call the first function that we created, which is the get initial users data, and we will check. We will show a circular progress indicator in the waiting state. After that, we will return a consumer which listen to the users data provider. Okay, and inside this there's a list view builder which take the item count as users data dot length, which will be the length of the initial users data, which will be 5. That we have set the limit inside our API, and we will just show the data here. That's it. And I have given a floating action button here, which call the get next users data. Since I only have a small amount of data, I am using this floating action button. If you have more data, you can just create a scroll control like this and create a function scroll listener. And if the scroll listener position reaches the maximum extent of the list view, we can just call the same function that we called here inside the floating action button, which is our get next users data. And inside the initial init state, we can just add the listener to the scroll controller. Just pass the scroll listener to the scroll controller node listener function. And inside the dispose, make sure to dispose the scroll controller. And here, inside the list view builder, pass the scroll controller here. Sorry. Okay, I think everything will work now. Now let's save all the files. Let's close, save. Okay, everything is now saved. Now this is the app UI. This is our edit profile button. If I click this, it will load the data. It will load the first initial 5 data. And if I click the floating action button, it will load 5 more data. And if I reach the bottom, it will load the data that is remaining here, which is this one data. You can try changing the limit if you want inside our APIs. Instead of 5, we can just give 8 and save it. Okay, now we have 8 data here, but since we can't scroll it, it will not fetch the data at the bottom. But we can use this floating action button here. If I click it, it will load the existing remaining data. So this is how you implement pagination using Flutter Riverpod and Firestore database. You can add a circular progress bar at the end if you want. By making some changes, you can just ask ChatGPT that. So if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and like the video, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever I post a new video. So okay then, see you guys.